All right. So, welcome to the YS channel as we present just our final thoughts and opinions. I guess you even say criticisms of the 1985 cult classic anime movie Vampire Hunter D. Care to add anything, Cameron?
Well, as we said at the beginning of our review for this movie, um, this movie originally came to our attention on what was then a basic cable channel.
Yeah, I mean, it's first time watching it, again, for those of us in the West here, outside of Japan anyway, not much like, there was not much like it anywhere, like on TV at the time. It was just the concept of the movie. Like, think of like a Van Helsing, but a Japanese anime version of it, and just the way like they executed it.
Yeah.
It's like holy shit. And they got everything from like sci-fi, future tech, to zombie mutant apocalypse, vampires, werewolves, you know, and even like spaghetti western themes, all just cobbled together. Somehow, it actually works together for the most part.
Yeah, that's the part about the whole movie that amazes me. It's a hodgepodge of different genres, and yet the movie is able to work with all of them combined. Like that to me it makes no sense because like most movies that do try that sort of stuff usually fail.
I was like most movies that try that shit, like you pick any one of those little genres like that, you try them individually, most movies fail. But yeah, they somehow mix everything together, and it worked out for the type of movie that it is.
Right. And as I said before, in Japan, this movie was likely aimed for a more mature because back in the day, even today, a lot of Japanese anime is aimed for like adults, not in the terms of like porn or anything. It's just the content is aimed for like for mature viewing. Same way South Park and The Sopranos are aimed for mature viewing in the United States.
Well, it's not even just that, dude. You gotta think about the youth in Japan compared to like the youth in America. You can take any age bracket you want. They're generally more mature, or they're expected to just able to handle more mature content without their parents just freaking the fuck out.
Exactly. In fact, it's my general belief that children in Japan are way more mature compared to children in Europe and the United States.
Well, it's just, I wouldn't say every aspect, but as far as like the content you see on TV, sure. Um, but again, there's certain things. Each culture has their own, what they consider culturally appropriate. What's culturally appropriate in Japan isn't culturally appropriate in Sweden.
Right.
That kind of crap. So
Right. Right. And this movie, by the way, is not the most glorious or the most rapiest. I hate using those words, but this movie is still relatively tame compared to some other anime I've seen from the 80s, where it's nothing but gore, sex, and blood.
yeah, dude, there's tons of them out there like that. I mean, there's some that if we were to even do like a review of it for our channel, YouTube would just block it. Violence Jack.
Oh yeah.
That one, give that a watch. Just be warned, you're in for like fucking gory. All the things you talk about, gore, rape, all that weird crap. Pretty much the plot. I think that's like 2 or 3 little OVAs. But again, it's just basically the general plot, and the Violence Jack guy just shows up and fucks everybody up.
Yeah, and a potential movie we have in our lineup for a review, general called Demon City Shinjuku, kind of has some of the same elements as Vampire Hunter D, but it takes place in the current time frame of the 1980s when it was made, and that movie features gore, rape stuff and stuff that YouTube might censor.
There's another one. I think it's called Genocide or something.
What?
Yeah, I think it's literally called Genocide. I could be wrong about the name of it, but it's literally just nothing but all those things we just mentioned. But as you said before, compared to those movies, this is like a very tame movie. It's just its theme and subject matter is really what puts it out there.
And we can't forget the classic anime Fist of the North Star.
Hey, dude, Fist of the North Star is the grandfather of all violent animes.
Oh no, it's not. But it definitely takes it to the next level.
Yeah, it was he just taps me right there in the forehead, and then you're dead.
Yeah. For the people out there that want to see some really bizarre there's a movie from the 70s called The Belladonna of Sadness. It's freaking weird. I highly recommend to people that want to go search it, see it, because it's like it has similar plot elements to Vampire Hunter D. It takes place in the Dark Ages, and people are skeptical of witches and all that stuff, which is similar to the plot of Vampire Hunter D. But basically, this peasant woman is seduced by the devil and takes her revenge out on the town for the crimes that were committed against her.
Maybe we could put a link if there's like the full version of on YouTube or Rumble or anywhere else. We could probably just post a link to it for people who want to watch it.
I don't think there would be the actual whole movies on YouTube, because Belladonna Sadness really it would be censored by YouTube. That's how graphic the content is.
Maybe it's something we can't do on our channel either. Then.
No, we can't. It's way too rapey.
Okay, well, for anybody out there who happens to come across this video, you know what to look up.
Yeah.
But some of the stylistic themes in the Vampire Hunter D movie, again, sets it apart. It's just like some of that. You can even call it goth themed or whatever. I mean, some of it to me gives off some like Batman vibes, even though that's not what they were going for. He has like that giant cloak cape thing. It's all dark and mysterious.
Well, this is actually not the first time they tried to copy the elements of Batman in anime. Like, for those who saw the Big O back in the day, they did the same exact thing, except the guy doesn't wear a bat suit. He wears a tuxedo and pilots a giant ass robot.
Oh yeah, you ever remember that show, Big O?
Yeah. We used to watch it, but then it went off the air.
But as far as the Vampire Hunter D movie is concerned, like, we keep touching upon like all the crazy different like little themes. There's a lot of clips we like didn't just show, where like they're just like stylistically just cool looking.
Yeah.
I mean, it's. I'll say this though about I don't think they ever reveal his name in any media, but the D character, they do him right in the movie. They keep him mysterious and bad. Like, they sell him off as a badass in the right way, and it works.
I will say this about most 80s anime movies out there. I used to want to put effort into it. Like there's a certain design aesthetic to them that actually makes them appealing. And Vampire Hunter D at times that employs that design tastefully. Like, but at the same time, the movie does suffer from a lack of budget, and I guess production values too, because I could tell there were times they kind of cheaped out on certain scenes.
But it's painfully clear. or they reuse certain like animation sequences. But I'll tell you this, this is just from doing some of the research into the source material. So Vampire Hunter D is like a series of novels and short novels. And I want to say the movie we just watched is a compilation of like the first two books, or maybe just the first book. But it's actually a series of novels. Now I don't think they're all like interconnected. Like how the Harry Potter franchise, all those novels, like they're back to back sequels. I don't think all these novels in the D series are like that. Like some of them are just like standalone stories. But it's actually one of the highest grossing or highest selling book series out there.
Well, that actually explains why another Vampire Hunter D movie was released in 1999 or at the start of the year 2000.
Oh yeah, Vampire Hunter D Bloodlust.
Yeah.
Now that one too, like they did a really goddamn good job making that one. Like just from like a stylistic standpoint, even like a technical standpoint with the animation, it's beautifully animated.
Yeah, that's also some clips where excuse me, doing some research on my own for the movie on YouTube. Like maybe that could be a movie we could cover one day.
Yeah, it's like Vampire Hunter D Part 2.
Vampire Hunter D, better quality.
But no, going back to the original Vampire Hunter D movie, to me, like, what's their name? Doris or Dorothy?
Dorothy.
They make her like a damsel in distress. But there's so many scenes where she just kind of like, it's suggested, because she doesn't outright say it. She's just gonna offer herself up. Like, I don't have any money to pay you, but let me just offer myself in exchange for payment.
Yeah, she clearly says that in one scene, and where they design her character, like everyone in that movie, like she does not belong in that universe. That's a universe just based on the design of the scene. As we saw it in the movie, like they deliberately made her to be the sex object of the film.
Yeah, I have to agree with you. And that's where some of these anime movies kind of fall flat. In some regard, it's like, do you really need to put that into the movie?
Yeah,
or do you really need to emphasize it? I'm sorry.
Yeah, well, I'm going to add on to it. Like about Japanese anime, like Japan, or I hate to say this, at times is a very chauvinistic country, and the way they view women is kind of bad at times. And you clearly see that in a lot of anime from the 70s to the 90s.
Yeah, no, I mean, I guess there's times and places where it works, but again, there's
Like,
also times and places where it's like kind of too jarring from the rest of the story.
yeah, for example, it doesn't work in this movie, and one of the movies just mentioned, Demon Seed Jinchuku, it doesn't work there either. They're just adding it to spice the film up at the cost of quality.
It's but eyeballs on the movie. But it's just one of those things, dude. Either you can tolerate it, it won't stop me from watching the movie, but at the same time, it's like I don't understand why it's so prevalent beyond what you were saying earlier.
Well, a good example of this is a anime movie that came out a few years before Vampire Hunter D called Go 13, which is based on a popular manga series. That movie really emphasizes how bad the sexist culture in Japan can be at times. Like the movie like really what's the word I'm looking for? Dehumanizes the women characters at times to the put at times and often in graphic situations.
I mean, again, I'm no social justice warrior or anything, However, we're just nitpicking and criticizing these movies, as we often do.
Yeah.
I can't imagine why some of the shit would make the cut. But again, there's also times where, okay, I get it. I get why you put that there. But we're kind of straying too far off, the movie itself we've been talking about.
Now, the movie itself, and I know from the books is based off on, they drew their inspiration clearly from Christopher Lee and the actual Bram Stoker novel Dracula, because it's essentially in the movie, and it is in the movie that Dee himself is a descendant of Dracula.
Even the source material, I think it even outright confirms it. But you'd have to go look that up for yourselves.
Yeah. One thing about this anime movie that I kind of like and don't like. Actually, I don't like is the English dub of the movie. It's like you could clearly tell it was rushed, or they just added stuff to make it match to what was the original Japanese and English track.
Well, there's actually two separate English dubs. So like the version we watched when we were younger, they kept replaying on TV in the '90s all the way through like the mid 2000s. That was like the original English dub. But then I think at some point, whenever they did like the Blu-ray or DVD release, they did like a digital remaster of the movie, and they redubbed it. Now I don't know if they reused the original like voice actors for the original English dub. But like I think the version we watched, it was like the newer dub.
Oh no, that's the original dub.
Oh. Point is, there's two of them out there.
Yeah. Yeah. Well. Again, that's something I don't like about most anime movies that with English from back in the day like because back then when this dub was made, anime was still as we know still in its infancy and its popularity. Yes, there were some shows out there that gained some great popularity, but the art form wasn't taken seriously enough to where a good dub was done. In fact, it probably wasn't until Ghost in the Shell where a good English dub of an anime movie was actually completed, or was it Akira 1 or 2? But it took a while, and Vampire Hunter D for English the English audience suffers from basically a half-assed dub.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, some of the people I think they did a better job than others, but overall, kind of meh.
It felt some of the characters felt stale at times, and like you could just, and this is because not putting effort into it. Like I get it. Maybe they had time and budget constraints to do this, but still, like, so did the audience.
But now talking about the other characters that were found within the movie, like the mutant that can bend space time. I believe his name is Ray in the movie, or even the source material. They did him dirty at the end here, where Count Magnus Lee, who was the overall villain of the whole story here.
Yep.
He uses his like psychic powers, and he just ragdolls the shit out of him, and it just fucking makes his head explode.
That to me was the best part of the movie. Like of everyone who deserved a painful and agonizing death, he deserved it more. Apart from Magnus Lee himself,
His daughter deserved it too, even though they kind of like gave her redemption.
Yeah, but she didn't do as much stupid stuff as the space time distortion demon guy.
Yeah, and then he pulls out like the candle of something, bewitching essence or whatever they called it, that magic candle.
Yeah. If he finds out it doesn't work on his boss.
Yeah, his boss like, bitch, that don't work on me. Like, do you think I would give you a weapon that you can turn around and use on me? Like, fuck no, dumbass.
Now suffer.
Yeah. And then boom, ragdoll, and all fucking, flawless victory, fatality.
Now, I will say this: the most annoying character, at least in the English dub in this movie, was the brat brother of Dorothy. Like, I wanted that kid to die.
Yeah, him and definitely the female vampire, the daughter.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe in the original Japanese dub, their character was more tolerable, but they gave her like the Transylvanian accent. The English dub, and it's just like, fuck, man.
Yeah, it's annoying as hell. Like, what our audience should be aware of, like, it wasn't really until recently that only it's not until like maybe the late '80s or mid '90s where they actually care to translate the Japanese language to almost exact perfect English and keep the story intact. Because like you ever seen some of the original Godzilla movies from back in the day? Chances are what you're hearing in the English language track is not what's being told in the Japanese audio.
Dude, they can even to this day they still do shit like that. Now, don't get me wrong. There's instances where they have to like ad lib, just because not every word or phrase in Japanese has a direct English translation.
Oh, that's true. That's true. But to me, like when you like deliberately go off track on your on the dub and try to tell your own story instead of what's actually in the script, like that to me is criminal. I think they did that in this movie to a degree, but I can't prove it.
You would have to find the original like Japanese dub and compare it and come to your own conclusion.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, overall, it's a fun movie. As we said, like in our part 1 review, either you're a fan of the material in the movie, or you just can't fucking stand it. Like, there's no in between.
And yeah, and
like,
and when we came across it on TV as teenagers, screw you. And when we came across the film as teenagers, like we watched it to the very end.
I'm just saying, like it definitely holds your attention. I think a lot of people who became anime fans, like as far as non-Japanese people go, anyway. Around the time this was released, I think a lot of them cite this as like got them into it, or as like it's one of those top 5 like what gets you hooked on anime kind of polls kind of thing, and it works its way in there.
Well, my opinion, this is how anime became popular in the United States. One, you got TV shows like Astro Boy, Gigantor, and then Gatchaman, which is known as Battle of the Planets in the United States. They became popular, and then when they added like cable, certain cable networks like USA and TNT would air like anime movies and shows late at night, and then when Cartoon Network came online, they launched Toonami, and that springheaded anime into the popular culture as we know it. But then the movie channel known as Stars was also airing its own anime content as well, and Movieplex was the channel, the basic cable channel that we were able to watch the show on. They made the movie on without paying for Stars.
Oh, okay. I mean, I do know it was like on Sci-Fi Channel.
Yeah, well, Sci-Fi Channel too, but like I remember back in the day it was Cartoon Network, and then Movieplex on certain days that would air anime movies.
But I mean, it's an entertaining movie. I mean, I don't personally hate it. That's the thing. Even though we kind of nitpicked it and made fun of it during our reviews,
Yeah.
I actually don't hate this movie. Yeah, to me, it's like, some of these movies we've done, this is actually one of the better. Well, actually, compared to the ones we've done so far, it's easily the best movie of the bunch.
Oh yeah, but by far, it's our best. It's the best movie we have reviewed. But again, the movie itself is kind of out there and not available on major streaming services. So it's our duty to bring it to you.
Yeah, so if you like what we've been doing, just like and subscribe or like and follow, and our channel will grow and expand, and we'll reach into the depths of, the asshole cinema history and find some other goddamn cinematic abortion to actually sit there and review.
Well, before we go, Derek, what's the next movie we should review?
It's a good question, Cameron. What is the next movie we're going to review?
I believe it's going to be Fantastic Planet.
Yeah, Fantastic Planet. Ooh, that's an obscure ass one. That'd be good for this. Or we can stick with the anime and do Demon City Shinjuku.
Or we do Macross.
Oh yeah, Macross.
Actually, there was actually another movie that they used to air a lot of movie plots.
You know what? Let's do Macross.
All right.
And then, so our next movie is gonna be Macross.
Uh-huh.
And then until next time.